how would you describe what it is that you want to communicate to people?
Well, there's nothing I want to communicate to people, but what's communicated is the recognition that the person, the individual,
yes,
is an illusion.
But we still, I feel like I've asked this question for so many people, but we still exist, me and you. We're people.
Well, there's an apparent existence.
Yeah.
So the body is an appearance.
Right. And there's a personality and preferences.
But there's nothing in it.
There's nothing in the body.
Right. But there's nothing in it.
There's nothing in the body.
Right.
Really? I don't know if I get that.
I swear, this cat, she makes an appearance in literally every single video. It's like, hi. Hi. Oh, she's hugging me. Yes, Jessie, please. Thank you. Wow. Let go.
Really? I don't know if I get that.
Well, I don't.
You don't get it?
No.
Ha! Yeah! Kill me!
Vegans, a lot of them tend to be crazy. There's an imbalance in the head.
But then she started coming out with some crazy stuff, and I mean crazy stuff.
Should I stop raping all the men that I see?
This girl honestly has me fearing for my safety.
A very proud and active animal rights supporter. A fucking psychopath. This guy is fucking nuts. Like, this motherfucker is fucking insane.
Because it is so illogical. And I have so much to say.
Really? I don't know if I get that.
It is so illogical. And I have so much to say. Vegans are just people. Vegans are just people. People. People.
I don't know if I get that.
Well, I don't.
You don't get it?
Ha!
No.
Yeah! Kill me!
Really? I don't know if I get that.
Nobody gets it, and it's not an experience.
It's not an experience.
No.
What is it?
It's a recognition. And it's not an experience.
It's not an experience.
No.
What is it?
It's a recognition.
When you say there's no one in it, what about these thoughts that are running through the head?
Well, the person doesn't think. What appears is just nothing appearing. It's just what seems to be happening.
If you're just hungry and the animals are there for us to enjoy for dinner, for lunch,
'Cause God said so.
breakfast.
Did God tell you that?
Well, I mean, why would they taste so good if we weren't supposed to eat them?
So there's something seems to be happening.
Apparently, yeah.
And
So let me ask you this. If you want to regenerate yourself, if you want to become a new and better you, then how will you recreate yourself? We are consumers of mind, body, and spirit. What we consume, we become.
Apparently, yeah.
and everybody's made a big deal about it.
Well, what happens is, in this happening,
Yeah.
there forms a center, for no reason, called an I. And that's when the big deal shows up. Well, it's a false claim. Well, it's a false claim. It's a false claim because the appearance, is already everything, is already wholeness.
The appearance.
It's already clear.
What do you mean, the appearance?
Complete.
Of the being?
Anything that's happening is an appearance.
Okay. This is an appearance.
Everything is an appearance. Everything is an appearance.
Isn't that incredible?
Meditate while I eat my food. To be completely present while I'm eating.
Really? I don't know if I get that. More to it than this.
No.
This is it. This is the totality.
This is the totality, right? This is what is and isn't.
It isn't.
What is
And
isn't.
it isn't. It is because we're obviously here.
And it's empty.
I don't.
You kid, I don't care that you're fucking 10, you're a fucking idiot. You should have been aborted. Anyone want to know why I hate children? This fucker. You don't have anything to say to that, do you piece of shit?
You can't say that all vegans are crazy, or that the majority of vegans are crazy.
It's not to be God. Seriously, that's the thing. That's what the me is, and that's the trap of the me, is it wants to know.
Yeah.
So it wants to understand because it's got a problem.
And vegans, there's no such thing as a vegan.
Well, there's no such thing as death.
There's no such thing as death. Well, can you say that?
Well, of course, I can't say that. No one can say that.
Vegans, there's no such thing as a vegan. You know, like, it's just a person. Especially.
Nothing's speaking about unknowing.
Nothing's speaking to nothing.
Nothing's speaking to nothing, exactly.
But I still think I'm a something.
I know.
I mean...
Hear that? That's nothing. Which is what I, as a speaker at today's conference, have for you all. I have nothing. Nada.
But that's just a story, and that's not real. That's a fabrication.
Well, it's real and unreal.
Or at least just a bit more sustainable. People are very conscious about what footprint they put on, and not to make a joke, but their literal footprint, whether they're being sustainable. So this is something that you're going to see more of.
What we haven't mentioned, all birds, right?
Yes,
I mean,
all
even
birds.
though they're made of wool, I don't think they kill the sheep for the wool, right?
No, no.
So that was really sort of the vanguard in these things, and everybody in Silicon Valley was wearing them.
Yes.
It's 100% plant-based. It's soy, non-GMO. It's got 22 grams of protein and only 140 calories. It's not made in a lab. It's really good.
John Carney's been pumping out traditional burgers from his fast food van in LA for 15 years. But these days, meat is not on top of the menu.
The sense of self is the illusion.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all walking around in the illusion of.
Well, there's no we, but there might be the experience there of being a separate sense of self that's walking around. It's just an expression. It doesn't mean anything.
Our prelude to contact. It is one of the ways, depending upon the society, that we open up to contact by creating these dialogues through individuals such as the channel before you, so that in dispensing information into your society in this way, your people, based on their belief systems, do not necessarily have to believe that this information is coming from an extraterrestrial source. They can make up their own minds as to whether to apply the information in their lives or not, and we are not in any way, shape, or form forcing you to take our word for anything that we choose to experience.
Veganism become popular and are entertaining to watch. The ones that are a bit wacky. Of course, the crazy people who... all vegans were very eccentric and held strange opinions on matters and whatever, crazy, if you like to call it crazy.
It's not going anywhere. This isn't going anywhere.
But why are we here? You're saying we're probably not here. There's no, we're just here.
There's no why. And there's no we. There is what appears.
This appears.
This appearance, yeah.
This appears. No, it's good. It's good. No, because I think
But there is a level on which all souls function as a singularity. Yes.
And aren't we already there?
Yes.
So...
But when you say we, the answer would be no. Because you are speaking from a different we than the we you are referring to as the singularity.
Is there a way for people to really get... I mean, I guess you're just saying...
If there were a way, then there would be separation.
The vegan burgers taste like burgers, and they're doing chicken that tastes like chicken, and it's crazy, you know? So we started buying 10 cases every about 2.5 months for the 2 stores, and now we're going through 10 cases every 3 weeks.
No doubt it's making an impact. But whether the taste really is as good as the traditional one with a lot, or it's a diet-based choice, or an ethical one, vegan is the new meat.
I've just been thankful that the burger is 100% without any animal.
So the only use I can see getting out of you is cutting your skin off.
What are y'all's favorite restaurants?
You should guys check out North Hollywood. It's just like awesome. It's Cajun vegan restaurant.
Oh yes, yes.
I live.
Out of his mouth was super random. Brandon, what's your favorite restaurant?
My favorite.
I go to Taco Bell all the time.
What do you get at Taco Bell?
I get a crunch wrap, but swap out the beef and get some beans in there.
So
Also swap out the sour cream and the cheese. And yeah.
don't they
put in
use
some
eggs in
beans.
their wraps?
I hope they don't.
Yeah,
But
I hope they don't
I've-
either, because then that wouldn't be vegan.
Eating meat is bad for you, it's bad for the country, and it reinforces gender stereotypes, apparently. But it tastes so good. Joining me now, Dr. D'Alessio Parson. Okay, doctor. Why is eating meat bad, really?
Well, we have to back up because you, I think at the beginning, just said eating meat creates toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Toxic masculinity is already there.
It's already there. Does eating meat make toxic masculinity worse?
It's one of the ways in which it can reinforce existing kind of social structures, including patriarchy.
Well, how does that reinforce social structures where men dominate eating meat?
Yeah, it's really complicated.
Just keep it simple. How does eating meat make the genders unequal?
In horrifying news, an American has thrown a child off a bus. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. In America, yes, the place where everything's bigger, the people, the mass shootings, it's all happening over there. And this poor young man has been thrown off a bus by a crazed lunatic. But as the old saying goes, never judge a book by the midget pretending to be a child reading it. In very slow news, a PhD student who already has a master's degree has declared war on the little Mr. Men books. Fucking here we go. She said that the Mr. Men books are problematic because they mansplain and they should be renamed Mr. Mansplain. Now that is inventive. Give that woman a prize immediately. How can this student even have a PhD? Oh, it's a PhD in woman studies. That's like a chiropractor saying they're a doctor, or me saying I'm a porn star because all I do is send dick pics all day. Fucking loser. Shut the fuck up. Instead of having that, we have dudes giving birth to babies out of their penis. Well, not really, but if you were a time traveler and you saw that fucking article, you'd be like, geez, that's some sore dick time. That's some sore dick time. Blokes in Australia are no longer just going to the pub with the boys, or having tinnies with the boys, or watching the footy with the boys. They're also pushing out babies out of their sexual organs. According to Medicare, this year, 54 men in Australia have given birth. Congratulations to those men. Well done.
Eating meat holds a lot of symbolism, but it has to do with the fact that our individual level decisions, the things we decide to do as individuals, what we consume, what we put on our bodies.
Enormous amount of men that are growing up today that are just huge bloody pussies, alright? And they are known as soy boys. And that's just bloody sad, alright? We need to do a deep dive and find out why these soy boys exist and what we're gonna do about it. Consumption the world over has gone through the bloody roof recently, alright? Regardless of your sex, whether you're a male or female and all those things in between, soy consumption is just not good for you. Particularly in high amounts. Now you may be sitting there thinking, I don't have soy in high amounts. The thing is, soy is in fucking everything. It's an additive, it's a thickener, it's it adds something to something, right? It's in all these different nutrition labels if you go and have a look. So what does this mean? It fucks with your estrogen levels. Now whether you're a man or a woman, you don't want to have too high estrogen, particularly if you're a man. It just fucks with you in a whole lot of ways. It can lead to depression, anxiety, it can lead to man boobs, it can lead to weight gain. But soy isn't the only thing causing soy boys, because soy boys are also made from just being little bitches, alright?
The things we buy and put in our households are fundamentally political acts.
Okay.
Right? The personal is political.
Okay. So, I'm having a steak right now because I'm starving.
I hear you. I wish I could have half of that, but this doesn't look vegan, and I'm trying to be vegan.
You're a vegan?
It's really hard because, I don't know if I told you I'm from Wisconsin.
Okay. And,
cheese was like one of my favorite things.
See, that looks pretty good. That's a little rare, medium rare.
Yeah.
Is
got
this
some nice dead animal, dead cow hanging on your fork.
Is this bad that I'm eating meat?
If you go hunting, that's a totally different story, right? The blood's on your hands. Right now, you're kind of just enjoying the benefit and the blood's on someone else's hands, and that's not very fair.
What if they want to hunt meat, or what if they want to raise cattle?
Oh, totally. But the idea of killing and taking a life, that we should really deeply consider what that means for us.
To help us get our minds around the colossal hypocrisy of the vegan kill cult, let's take a look at a common organic method of rat and mouse control that farmers employ in their repugnant efforts to quench the bloodlust of the vegan kill cult. And while we're watching the carnage being carried out in the name of veganism, let's listen to the cult's own queen of hypocrisy, Freely the Banana Girl, lecture us about how she's decided it's time for omnivorous and carnivorous human beings to fall under her despotic rule and lose their inalienable right to decide for themselves what to eat.
So at this point, it's pretty clear that the human species is fucking insane. So insane, in fact, that there is actually humans out there who pay for sickening, violent, gruesome things to be done to innocent animals every single meal of every single day. And those people, they feel attacked. They feel fucking attacked. They say vegans are cruel and judgmental, and they want to be free to feast on their flesh in peace, and instead treat it with love, kindness, and compassion. They say vegans are mean, and they need to be more loving. Are you for fucking real? Seriously, are you for fucking real? You want me to be more supporting and loving and compassionate about your decision to enslave, torture, and murder innocent beings? Get the fuck out of here with your fragile feelings. So let me get this straight. So someone called you out on the fucked up things you've been doing and supporting. They told you the truth, and you got offended. Good. Fucking fantastic. I'm glad you got offended, because your whole lifestyle is fucking offensive. Yes, you should feel bad. You are doing bad things.
The idea of killing and taking a life, that we should really deeply consider what that means.
Make no mistake, you have someone else's blood on your hands. And people like me are going to speak up about it because we actually give a fuck. Look, going vegan isn't about joining some trendy plant-based circle jerk on YouTube or about furthering your eating disorder. This is a serious fucking movement for the animals. It's about leaving them the fuck alone, basically, so they can live their life. This isn't about you, the oppressor. This is about the oppressed, the animals. This is not about your fucking feelings. This is about saving lives. You are not the victim. You are the perpetrator. The animal on your plate that you are eating or that you're about to eat is the victim. Sure, your ego might be bruised from hearing the truth, but your flesh is not being wounded. Your blood is not being spilt. Your body is not being violated. You aren't being kicked, punched, and stabbed for just being you. You don't have to eat and stand in your own shit all day long, waiting for your turn to die. Your genitals aren't being mutilated. You're not being anally electrocuted and skinned alive for fashion. I mean, your breasts are not being pulled and sucked by a machine until they ooze pus and blood. You aren't being repeatedly raped and kept pregnant only to have your baby stolen, enslaved, or killed after every single pregnancy. You aren't being forced to cannibalize your own kind for food.
The idea of killing and taking a life, that we should really deeply consider what that means for us as human beings. You know, people have said you should judge a society by how it treats their animals. And we, you know, it'd be great if we had universal health care for our animals.
Universal health care for animals, that could be expensive.
We can afford it. Look.
Really? Because we're $20 trillion in debt.
I got some money. I got this.
Do you care more about people or animals?
I care about our world, and I think in order for us to achieve a more sustainable future, particularly regarding what's happening with climate change, well, you don't have to worry about, if you don't want to worry too much about the squirrel right now, the squirrel's part of nature, right? If you keep killing nature, what's going to happen to us, right? If we as people keep killing nature.
Or watch family members be ground up alive in front of you. You aren't at risk of having your head hacked off for someone else's snack.
Cult of rat and mouse control that farmers employ in their repugnant efforts to quench the bloodlust of the vegan kill cult. And while we're watching the carnage being carried out in the name of veganism, let's listen to the cult's own queen of hypocrisy, Freely the Banana Girl, lecture us about how she's decided it's time for omnivorous and carnivorous human beings to fall under her despotic rule and lose their inalienable right to decide for themselves what to eat.
I'm just happy to, call this burger like a life changer.
You can't say what it is, but you can point.
You can point to it.
But you can't say what it is.
Because if you say it, you're separate.
It is morally incorrect to torture beings for no reason. Plus it is destroying the planet, plus it has many negative health consequences for yourself.
How would you describe what it is that you want to communicate to people?
Well, there's nothing I want to communicate to people, but what's communicated is the recognition that the person, the individual, is an illusion.
I'm trying to really get what...
You won't get it.
Okay, so how will... But you're getting it.
I don't get it. Nobody gets it. We're talking about unknowing.
Unknown.
About the lives of animals, which is what veganism is about, then you don't care who the fuck tells you or how the fuck they tell you, just as long as they fucking tell you. If you care about the message, you don't care who the messenger is. Look, let's be real here. You don't give a fuck about the message. You don't give a fuck about animals or veganism. You're just a bored internet troll. You were never considering going vegan because your burger comes first.